Hello friends, welcome to my YouTube channel James Biology. In this channel, we are discussing different biological sessions which are very important in NEET, AIMS and class 11th and 12th students. So for the entrance preparing students, this session will be very special, and for class 12 student also it is important. So let's start. So before starting, let me tell you, I am Chinmay Mahapatra and I am teaching in On Academy OPSC also. So if you want plus subscription from On Academy OPSC, then you use my referral code CMS underscore biology to get 10% discount. So today's topic is on ecology and the chapter is organism and the environment. Yes, organisms and the environment. We will discuss important terms with MCQs which are important in neat aspects of view and AIMS also, and it is also important for class 12 students. So let's start. So ecology is the study of interaction. It is the study of interaction between living organisms and their environment. So we know that ecology is the interaction. It is the interaction between the living organisms and their environment. Next one, term ecology was coined by German zoologist Ernest Haeckel in 1866. Okay, and this term, that is ecology, is derived from two Greek words, oikos, which means house, and logos means study. So the study of house or dwelling place of any organism is ecology, according to Ernest Haeckel. Okay, so some authors also give the credit to Reuter for proposing the term ecology. Okay, Reuter 1865. Some authors give credit to Reuter for proposing the term ecology, and Ernest Haeckel derived this word ecology from two Greek words, oikos and logos, right? Odum defined ecology as study of structure and function of nature. Yes, my dear friends, study of structure and function of nature is known as ecology according to Odum, right? Let's know autoecology is the study of interrelationship between a species and its environment. It is the relationship between a specific species and its environment. Autoecology. Likewise, synecology, it is also known as community ecology. Why? Here, it is the study of an entire community in relation to its environment. That is why it is called community ecology. But in case of autoecology, what happened? It is the interrelationship between a single species and its environment. In synecology, it is the relationship or the relation between community, entire community and its environment. Synecology, right? Term autoecology and synecology, these two terms were proposed by Schroeter and Kirchner in the year 1896 and 1902. Autoecology and synecology. Next, what are the different environmental factors? From now we will discuss different environmental factor and its impact on different organisms. So temperature is the most important physical factor, right? Temperature is the most important physical factor that affects the activity of an organism. So majority of animals are cold, this one is cold blooded or poikilothermic. The cold blooded animals are called poikilothermic without constant body temperature, right? They do not have constant body temperature and the temperature changes with the environmental condition. They are called poikilothermic. Likewise, temperature changes in the environment affect most of the animals that are poikilothermic. So the poikilothermic animals, which are also called as the cold-blooded animals, the environmental change or temperature changes in the environment affects the animal who are cold-blooded or poikilothermic. Next one is the homeothermic. So birds and mammals are warm-blooded or homeothermic. In this case, what happens? With a constant body temperature, they have a constant body temperature irrespective of the environment. Whatever may be the temperature in the environment or the outer body outside the body, whatever may be the temperature, but the inner body is maintained, inner body temperature is maintained. So they are called warm blooded or homeothermic, right? Particularly birds and mammals. Many cold-blooded animals remain inactive during winter season called hibernation. We know that hibernation or the winter sleep. Many cold-blooded animals remain inactive or metabolically they use less energy and they reduce their physiological activities during this time in order to avoid the extreme cold condition. This is called winter sleep or the hibernation. Next one, dormancy in animals through a drought or a dry season is called estivation. Estivation is known as the summer sleep, right? Next one, yes, insect remain in dormant stage called diapods. When insects remain in a dormant stage, it has a specific term known as the diapods. Organisms which can tolerate very large variation in temperature is called eurythermal animals. Eurythermals, because these organisms can tolerate very large variation in temperature from a very less temperature to very high temperature. They can tolerate. That is why these organisms are called eurythermal, right? Eurythermal organisms. Next one, they cannot, which can tolerate only a small variation. They cannot tolerate large variation in temperature. So these are called stenothermal, right? When the organisms can tolerate large variation in temperature, it is called eurythermal. When they can tolerate only small variation in temperature, it is called stenothermal, right? Okay. Plants growing in extreme cold soil are called psychrophytes. This one is very important. Psychrophytes. Yes, the plants that grow in extreme cold soil, right? Psychrophytes. Many animals move towards source of light, which is called phototaxis, movement towards light or light loving nature. Phototaxis, right? These are important terms. We will discuss again with MCQs these different important terms. Okay. Phytotaxis, movement of animals towards the source of light, right? Okay. Light loving plants are known as heliophytes. Yes, heliophytes are the plants those love light, whereas the shade loving, opposite to light loving, means they go away from light towards shade. So shade loving plants are known as xeophytes. Yes, xeophytes, right? Heliophytes, light loving plants, xeophytes, shade loving plants. Okay, next one is aquatic animals which can tolerate only a narrow range of salinity are said to be stenohaline. Yes, my dear friends, stenohaline. Stenohaline are the aquatic animals who can tolerate only a narrow range of salinity in the water where they live. Okay, stenohaline. Next one is the euryhaline, which means these animals has wide range of saline tolerance. So the animals having wide range of saline tolerance are known as euryhaline, whereas stenohaline are the animals or the aquatic animals which can tolerate only a narrow range of salinity. Narrow range of salinity is stenohaline, wide range of salinity euryhaline. Okay. Next, edaphic factor are related to soil. Edaphic related to soil. Okay. Pedology, study of soil. Okay. So soil is also an important ecological factor and the study of soil is known as pedology. Okay. The least porous soil is clay soil. Remember, clay soil has least number of pores in the soil. This is very tight and pores are not present, very less in clay soil. So the clay soil do not permit air inside it. Okay. Loam soil is a mixture of sand and clay. If we will mix the sand with clay soil, then we will get a type of soil that we call the loam soil. Okay. Next, capillary water. My dear friends, this is present. It is the capillary water is present between the pores or spaces or around the soil particles. So the capillary water is the most common source of water for plants, and this water is present within the pores of the soil particles or around the soil particles, right? Okay, capillary water, and it is the most common source of water for plants. Humus. Humus is the organic material present in soil from partial decay of plant and animal matter. So, after decaying of the plant and animal matter, the dead and decaying part of plants and animals and their products, after their decomposition or partial decomposition, humus, an organic material is made which makes the soil more fertile and makes the growth of plants easy, okay, by providing the natural organic minerals. The biochemical changes leading to the development of soil from parent rock is termed as pedogenesis. So what is pedogenesis? It is the gradual biochemical changes from rock to form soil is called pedogenesis. It is the gradual process. We know that large rocks break down due to high temperature and rainfall and the impact of different natural factor. Those rocks become simplified and forms the soil after thousands of years of processing. That is called pedogenesis, formation of soil. Neutralism, relationship between different organisms. So neutralism is the most common type of interspecific interaction to animals. Show number of interrelationship. Sorry, no interrelationship. My dear friends, when two animals, two different organisms from different species, interspecific means two different species, intraspecific means of the same species, inter to different, intra of the same. So here interspecific interaction to animals show no interrelationship. Two different species, two different animals of different species and have no relationship at all between them. Like the cow and snake. This type of zero relationship is known as neutralism, right? Next one, mutualism is a positive reciprocal relationship between two different species. It is the positive relationship between two different species and both of them get benefited from one another due to this type of mutualism or this type of relationship. Next one, symbiosis. Yes, my dear friends, in symbiosis, two organisms live together. Two organisms live together in close physical association from which both derives benefits. Yes, in symbiosis, both derives benefits, and here they live with close physical association, symbiosis, right? They live together with close physical association. The body may be attached with one another, right? Okay. Obligate mutualism. What is obligate mutualism? One organism cannot survive without the other. One will die without the other. Both together can survive and get benefited from one another, and if separated they will die, right? Obligate mutualism. Relation between fungi and algae. Yes, fungi and algae, the relationship is mutualism. and they together form the lichen, right? We know this relationship very well. Lichen is formed due to the association between fungi and algae. Okay, the algae gain protection from the fungal thallus. Fungal thallus provides protection to the algae. The lichen derives nutrients from the photosynthetic algae. Okay, so fungal thallus protects and algae prepare food through the process of photosynthesis, and they both live together, and the togetherness of fungi and algae is known as lichen. The more convenient example of mutualism is the intimate association of the plant root with fungal hyphae. Yes, the interaction or the attachment of plant root and fungal hyphae. Fungal hyphae attached to the plant root and the fungal hyphae are called mycorrhizae. They help in nitrogen fixation and growth of the plant, right? So they provide nutrients to the plant. Okay. Commensalism is the relationship between two species that is beneficial to one but neutral or no benefit to the other. In commensalism, two different species live together. One gets benefit and another may be neutral. That means no benefits to one and one is benefited. Commensalism, right? Next, amensalism is the relationship between two species in which one is harmed by the presence of the other. Yes, two species live together, one is harmed due to the presence of the other species. So it is called amensalism, right? Example, antibiotics produced by fungus harm the growth of microbes. So when the microbes and fungus live together, the fungus produces some antibiotics which causes harm to the microbes or even death of the microbes, right? So this is the example of amensalism. Parasitism is a relationship between two species in which one benefited while other is harmed. One gets benefited, which is called the parasite, and the other is in loss or other faces harm. And the one which is harmed is called host, and the one which gets benefits is called parasite, right? So the relationship is called parasitism. Predation. Predation is a direct food relation between two species of animals in which one animal captures and feeds on another. So predation is the relationship in which one captures the other and feeds on it. So the one who captures is called predator, and the one which is used as food of the predator is called prey. Prey-predator relationship, prey which is eaten, predator who eats. Okay, and this relationship between this prey and predator is called predation. Yes, next one, killing and consuming one's own kind of intraspecific predation. Yes, killing and consuming the same species is called cannibalism. Yes, we have different movies on cannibalism, human eating human, right? So when human eats another human by killing, it is called cannibalism. Any species who kills the individual of the same species, the organisms of the same species, and feeds on it, then the relationship is called cannibalism, right? Cannibals. The organisms are called cannibals. The organism which carries a disease from one organism to another is called vector. We know it. It is called vector. Vector are the organisms or the carriers who carry the disease from one organism to another healthy individual, right? And who carries the disease is known as vector, right? Okay. Next one, scavenging is a direct food relationship in which an animal feeds on other animals which are dead naturally or killed by other animals. So Scavenging means it is a direct food relationship in which an animal feeds on other animals. Okay, that other animal may be killed by this one or killed by or any other. Sorry, the the animal is killed by other animals or dead naturally. So scavengers are the animals who depends on dead animals or the animals killed by other organisms, right? Scavenging. Next one, mimicry is resemblance of one organism to another or to an object in the environment evolved to hide them from predators. So mimicry means it is a it is an act of hiding. Okay, act of hiding itself. The organism hide itself to avoid being eaten. Okay, so it is a resemblance of one organism to another. The organism which is the prey try to make itself different than it, so that the predator will not get it to eat, or it will just make the predator afraid, right? Okay, so mimicry is a protective adaptation. Yes, the prey protects itself from the predator by this type of adaptation, mimicry. Okay, example, dead leaf butterfly. Remember this one, very important. Dead leaf butterfly. The butterfly looks like a dead leaf so that the predator do not eat it and it escape from the predator. Dead leaf butterfly. It is called Calima parolecta. Yes, Calima parolecta or dead leaf butterfly. Mimicry is the process of protective adaptation. The functional role of a species in a community, including activities and relationship, is called niche. Yes, functional role of a species in a community, including activities and relationship, is called niche. Habitat is a specific place or locality where an organism lives. It is a specific location where an organism lives. It is the habitat of that specific organism. And let's talk about home range. Is the area over which animal moves in search of food. It is the home range. Up to this range, the animal will move to search food, and beyond that, it will normally not go. Home range. And next one is the territory. Yes, it is the area protected by the animals against the intruders. So specific animals have a specific territory and they protect that specific area and do not allow the other organisms to enter that area. That specific area is called as territory, right? So let's discuss some MCQs relating to whatever we discussed now. So we have 15 most important MCQs now. So let's know. Term ecology was proposed by, we discussed here, it is writer A. So A is the right answer. Term ecology was proposed by writer. Number 2, a branch of ecology which is concerned with the study of individual species at all stages of its life cycle in relation to environment is called. Yes. What is the answer? It is autecology. Individual species, we are talking about individual species. When we will talk about the community species, it will be synecology. But individual species and its relation with the environment is called autecology. So D is the right answer. Third one, the study of entire community in relation to its environment is called. Yes, here it is the synecology. When we will talk about the entire community, it is synecology. When we will talk about a specific species, it is autecology. So synecology, B is the right answer. Number 4, who gave the term autecology and synecology? We have discussed it also. Okay, so the first option, yes, Kroter and Kirchner, A is the right answer. Question number 5. Light loving plants are known as, yes, light loving plants. We know it is heliophytes. A is the right answer. The plants who love light are heliophytes. 6. when an animal moves towards the source of light, it is called. The animal is moving towards the source of light, so it is phototaxis. A is the right answer, my dear friends. Question number 7. Temperature changes in the environment affects most of the animals, which are, so temperature of the environment affects the organism. So it is nothing but the poikilothermic, because they cannot maintain their body temperature, and the body temperature is affected by the changing of the environmental temperature. So homeothermic are the organisms, they can maintain a constant body temperature. So here the answer is poikilothermic A. 8. Plants growing in extreme cold soil are, yes, we have also discussed about this. Psychrophytes are the plants growing in extreme cold soil. So C is the right answer. Question number 9. Aquatic animals which can tolerate only a narrow range of salinity are said to be. Narrow range of salinity, yes, not wide range, it is narrow range, and it is nothing but the stenohaline. Yes, my dear friends, B. Stenohalines are the animals, are the aquatic animals which can tolerate only a narrow range of salinity, right? Question number 10. Edaphic factor are related to, very easy question, edaphic factor, soil. Edaphic factor, soil. Yes, soil is the right answer. D, my dear friends. Question number 11. The most common source of water in plants from soil. Yes. Which water is normally used by the plant? What is the most common source? Yes, it is the capillary water. The water present in the pores of the soil surrounding the soil particles. Yes, that is capillary water. D is the right answer. Question number 12. A specific place or locality where an organism lives is called. Specific place or locality where organism lives. Yes, it is very easy question and the answer is habitat. Habitat, the organism's habitat is the place where the organism lives. Question number 13. Symbiosis means. Yes, we have also discussed about this symbiosis. Yes, my dear friends, living together with benefits to both partners. D is the right answer. Both the partner live together and both gets profit from one another, that is symbiosis. 14. Mimicry is just discussed. Yes, what is mimicry? It is protective adaptation. Dry leaf butterfly. Okay, protective adaptation. C. Which of the following insect mimic a dry leaf? Yes, what is the scientific name? Calima caraceus phylum known. The answer is Calima. Yes, A is the right answer. Dry leaf. Mimic a dry leaf so that the predator cannot find it and it defends itself. Right? So, my dear friends, these are the important questions. Now I have a quotation for you. Mistakes are proof that you are trying. So do not fear to make mistakes. Mistakes will teach us new things. Thank you very much, my dear friends, for watching. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, James Biology, and hit the bell icon so that you will never miss a session from me. Do not forget to like and share this video session. Your likes make me more energetic to produce, to bring more videos for you. Thank you very much.